What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today's video is going to be a very, very good one. And honestly, it is going to be going ahead and putting Infinity Ward on full blast. I think a lot of you guys are going to go ahead and enjoy this one. But before we go ahead and hop into the topic, I do want to mention, of course, we are on the 40K subscriber grind. So if you want to support the channel, if you enjoy the content that you see here today, and you just enjoy my commentaries, then by all means, make sure you go down, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button if you want to be notified for any future uploads. I post stuff like Call of Duty, Battlefield. I even dabble in other indie games, other, third-person shooter games. It doesn't matter. If it's a shooting game, I usually like posting about it. So by all means, if you want to be notified, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, today's video is absolutely no joke. This is the real deal. And Treyarch has come out and basically, in my personal opinion, have exposed Infinity Ward for all of the just mind-boggling decisions they have decided to take when it comes to, things within Modern Warfare 2. Now, of course, we all know classic Treyarch. Even when it comes to Black Ops Cold War, they have always brought stuff like, classic minimaps, having maybe Dead Silence or, Ninja as a perk to assist with more run and gun type of players. They've always stayed a little bit more truthful to the core Call of Duty formula. And Infinity Ward used to be like that back in the day, but obviously, as the years have gone on and on and on, they continuously keep crapping on the 6v6 experience. It's really sad because I enjoy their style. I like Infinity Ward, but they just can't seem to keep the core fundamentals of Call of Duty intact. Their engines might be amazing, their animations might be gorgeous, their visuals might be beautiful. Everything about an Infinity Ward game is very clean, but when it comes to the 6v6 side of things, when it comes down to just solely is the gameplay fun in a Call of Duty shooter, arcade shooter, of course, they nail certain aspects, but they always have to remove core fundamentals to ruin the overall vibes. And the community, let's be honest here, we're always trying to give our feedback. I would say every single year, every single month, even when it's not an Infinity Ward title, people are still bringing this stuff up. We are always giving feedback on how they can save the game, how they can bring more players in, how they can make 6v6 just as popular, if not better, than Warzone itself. Bring in all the popularity again. But as we all know, Infinity Ward nowadays, they have obtained an ego that just simply, it really cannot be broken down. They truthfully believe every decision that they make, and I'm not talking about the devs, the thousands and thousands of devs who are working behind the scenes. I'm talking about management, the head devs, and even Activision. And they really believe that everything they do in these games are just straight up genius. Nothing can go wrong. And whatever we think, the people who have been playing Call of Duty since day one, even Call of Duty 1, the OG, everybody who has had that much experience with these games, your opinions don't mean anything. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to COD. That is how they feel right now. And that's what we've been dealing with on, like I said, a month-to-month, a year-to-year basis when it comes to this team. And it's absolutely hilarious to me because, like I said in the beginning of this video, Treyarch put Infinity Ward on blast. Now, they didn't blatantly just come out and say, yeah, Infinity Ward, they don't, they have an ego that's just insane. They don't listen to any, they didn't blatantly come out and say that. But the way they worded what I'm about to read off to you guys, in my personal opinion, seemed like, once again, they are putting Infinity Ward on full blast. As you can see over here, over on Reddit, this is, I believe, on the competitive page for Modern Warfare 2, because obviously that's where everybody's going right now. Casuals are that bad at this moment that people find ranked play more casual than the casual lobbies themselves. Imagine that. Imagine the day that you have to go to ranked to get more casual gameplay and just better competition, better teammates, better flow, than going to just simply casual. Beyond me, but back to the main point here. Over on the competitive side, they are, once again, just like us, not happy that there's no red dots on the minimap. We don't have Dead Silence as a perk or even Ninja as a perk, anything that just help with the footstep noise, because obviously the footsteps in this game are still like elephants. I don't know why Infinity Ward always does that, because, again, back in the day, it was like that as well, but again, you had Dead Silence to help you out. So you pick and choose your playstyle. Nowadays, they don't let you. You have a timer for Dead Silence. That's the only opportunity that you get. It's really rough, man. It's really rough, but sorry, I keep getting it's just it's hard, guys. It's really hard because I try to stay cool, but when you think of stuff like this, it's just so mind-boggling. It really just makes you sit and just wonder what the heck is happening. But as I was saying, over on Reddit, This individual, D75H, said, "Please add Deddy as a perk." And you know what Treyarch came back and said? "Just to set expectations for this kind of request and others like it, we are ultimately not responsible for core gameplay mechanics in Modern Warfare 2. This kind of feedback is better shared with Infinity Ward for multiplayer." This is just hilarious to me. First and foremost, why would they even bother responding to this post? Why? They don't respond to anything. Let's be honest here. Even Treyarch themselves, they don't really respond, that much crap on the internet. And this is just something that's always thrown around. You can go on Twitter, you can go on Instagram probably, you can go anywhere. I bet you they even have a Facebook page. And you could just look at all the comments, and I guarantee you'll see stuff just like this. Add Deddy, bring the minimap back. It's the same post you see all the time. They probably know. Why would they respond to this? Typically this would just be shoved to the side, but they actually took time out of their day to make a response saying that you can direct that to Infinity Ward, right? This isn't us. If it was up to us, we would listen to you guys. We would add these core Call of Duty fundamentals that make the game better back into the game. But don't look at us, look over at them. That's what I get out of this post. And again, I just love it because it just proves not just the community, but on the inside of all the development teams, it even seems like they are starting to look at Infinity Ward like, yo, come on, man, lower down the ego. Let's be honest here, guys. After Modern Warfare 2019, it's never been the same, And I'm not trying to make an excuse for Infinite Warfare or Ghost, even though, I actually kind of enjoyed both of those games to a certain extent. Ghost was pretty fun in the competitive side, and Infinite Warfare all around was actually, out of all the jetpack CODs, my favorite. Again, you can slap me down for all of this stuff, but I enjoyed Infinite Warfare. I thought it was very smooth, very fast-paced. But even back to those times, they semi-listened. From Ghost, pretty much the main feedback was that it was way too slow, maps way too big, stupidly complex, and they dumbed it down to Infinite Warfare when it came around, and they could have done anything for Infinite Warfare, let's be honest. But instead, they took many fundamentals from Black Ops 3, they took a lot of Treyarch influence, and then made it extremely dummy fast-paced. They completely did a 180 from what Ghost was to Infinite Warfare. They semi-listened. But once Modern Warfare 2019 came out, and again, like I said, I wasn't making any excuses. If you didn't like the games, you didn't like the games. That's a completely fair statement. I'm not saying that, you get the point here. But at the end of the day, when Modern Warfare 2019 came out and Warzone dropped, Warzone was the beginning of the just horrifying ego of Infinity Ward. That popularity during the pandemic, because honestly, a lot of that popularity came from the pandemic. I mean, look at it now. It's dwindling. It's literally dwindling before our eyes. The player count is dying on Warzone 2. It's getting destroyed. Apex and Fortnite is pretty much putting it in the dirt. The multiplayer for Call of Duty is actually catching up in Twitch viewership right now. Side to side. I don't know how. I think it's ranked. A lot of the people are just going over to ranked. It's as simple as that. But as I was saying, the ego is what got to them. With the pandemic, with Warzone, getting the player counts, the numbers, the money, right? Activision was getting fat pockets over this project. They probably were, hyping up Infinity Ward like no tomorrow, especially the head devs. They're probably trying to make them feel like geniuses, like top dogs, probably showering them in money. And this is the outcome. We have a team that is not allowed to listen to any community feedback because the head developers don't want any of that community feedback. They don't care about that community feedback. And like I said, I even think it's just trickling off into the actual development teams where you see people like Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games who aren't as bad like that. Now, again, all throughout time, I would say out of all the developers, now I can't talk for all developers, I haven't played all games, but a lot of FPS games I've played, literally the Call of Duty devs always have, the hardest time taking community feedback for their titles. And, it's not just Infinity Ward. It's Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games. But after Warzone, Infinity Ward has just went to a whole different level. And you can see it, with Cold War. They kept a lot of things similar to Call of Duty. They cared about the 6v6 side of things. They wanted to at least make fans happy in a certain way, especially with the lack of time they had. They had to pick up that project from Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer completely dropped the ball. They had to come in and save the day. And they still forced out something that is more, community-driven than what Infinity Ward has been putting out nowadays. And Sledgehammer Games as well, Vanguard. It might not be my favorite game in the world, but at least I can respect they put Dead Silence in the game, or Ninja, and they added in the perk to kind of find a middle ground for the minimap at the moment, for the time that they were given to make that game. But then Modern Warfare 2 comes out, instead of actually making the minimap, they keep it exact. They take Vanguard's work, and instead of making it what it should be, finishing the middle ground to the complete path, they keep it that way. They don't want to give us what we want. It's insanity. It actually drives you, if you're a Call of Duty fan, it drives you insane looking at how Infinity Ward is treating their community right now and how they're handling everything within their game. I mean, let's be real here, guys. The fastest paced thing that they have done for this community recently, or, basically that benefits run and gunners, aggressive players, is the drill charge. That's realistically all I can think of. The drill charge. It's a great piece of equipment. I love it. It destroys campers. It gets people out of annoying head glitches all the time. It's fantastic. And I really appreciate them doing that, but everything else, it seems like they want the game to get slower and slower. And even when they add cool additions, it just gets absolutely weighed down by just the stupidly slow gameplay. Again, back in the day, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, yeah, they were slower than Treyarch titles. 1010% they were slower than Treyarch titles. But I showcased it in other videos, and I'll probably showcase it in future videos as well, how certain things within those games, Marathon, Lightweight, Dead Silence, Ninjas, stuff like that, attachments that don't completely weigh down your character, all of these fundamentals allow you to run and gun in a Infinity Ward title, while still allowing people who want to play a bit more tactical, a bit more slow-paced to do what they want to do. But for people who want to be aggressive, if you enjoy that playstyle, I really do, that's how I always enjoy playing COD, then you had a way to do so. I think people are pissed right now because they don't have a way to play these games. This game would be a lot more accepted if an aggro player had things to benefit them as well. But instead, they are forced to just simply adapt to the camping playstyle. Of course, skill-based matchmaking plays a massive factor in this, because if skill-based matchmaking was more toned down in casual play, you could work around it. You could still have some matches where, you can stomp out, you can have your fun, where sound isn't going to be as crucial as it should. But because skill-based matchmaking is turned all the way up, you get people who are sound whoring all the time, know the distances with sound itself, know where to find individuals if they hear a specific sound to cue. People sweat when it comes to COD nowadays. It's as simple as that. People sweat, and that's who you verse every single game it is. Now, if we had stuff like we did back in the day to assist with sound and assist with stuff like that, we could actually still compete. That's why I feel like Black Ops Cold War, even back in the day when skill-based matchmaking was cranked all the way up, I could still get more playable action sometimes compared to a game like Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2, because I still had, Ninja, I still had working mini-maps. I had ways that I can find campers, hunt down people who are using head glitches, and be able to sneak up on them without them, like I said, knowing every single sound cue. It was just ways to work around it. Even in the most competitive matches, there were ways to work around it. But the point of this overall video was to just showcase that we aren't going insane, and yes, indeed, Infinity Ward has a ridiculous ego. What I really saw out of that Reddit post shows me that, Treyarch wants to make those changes. They would make those changes if they could, and they did back in Black Ops Cold War. The changes were already there. I mean, for the love of God, even Sledgehammer Games put Ninja in the game. They did such a, horrifying, drastic change, something that is so bad that would take ages to balance the whole game around. It wasn't in the game at the beginning of the beta. We wanted it in the game. So from the beta to the full release, they put it in the game. It didn't seem like it was that hard for them to, drastically change everything around. I mean, my gosh. I don't understand why it has to be such a big deal, because it's not a big deal. It's simply not. It's a game that is supposed to be designed for the community. If the community isn't happy, then you're doing it wrong. You're simply doing it wrong because the community makes the game what it is. It's always been that way. All the memories, all the moments, all the vibes that you get out of the game is due to the community. Unless, of course, it's an absolute banging story mode. But let's be real here. When it comes to COD, yeah, the campaign is a great selling point. But what keeps it going month after month after month is the multiplayer. And who makes up the multiplayer? Us, the people, the players, the community. And again, If we aren't happy, then what's the point? There will be no multiplayer. And I really do feel with Creative 2.0 coming out in Fortnite that some huge things are going to be happening, along with other games going to be trying to adapt and overcome and upgrade their games to go off to next gen. Call of Duty is going to eventually fall behind. They're either going to eventually listen to the community, upgrade their game, upgrade servers, make sure they listen to it, and so on and so forth, or they're going to fall behind and it's not going to be relevant anymore. I don't know how many years it's going to take, but eventually down the road, it will happen. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. I hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoy the content, don't subscribe with that notification button. Also, on chat me, there's two ways to do so: Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games, do it on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.